I want to come back to Shem and talk about Shem and the boys when this diet started to root and you knew you were going to stick with it. Did they end up resisting, or did they end up deciding to join you on this new journey?
So, a piece of advice I want to give to that question, if people are, wondering, because that's so common, like, I want to change about my family. And my first piece of advice was change for you and don't worry about anyone else, because that can get complicated, depending on your family dynamic. And so, at first, I just worried about myself. I just cooked the meals that I would normally cook, and then I would eat the part that I wanted to eat. So I might cook slightly different for myself, or leave out some food and then add in like what they would like chicken into their meal or whatever. And so that was at the very beginning. And then at the time we were budgeting pretty tight. And so things like buying organic peanut butter or switching out my pantry seemed very extravagant and not doable. So I just decided I was just going to do it over time, like switching out the more expensive peanut butter, for example. And then the next time buying like coconut sugar instead of brown sugar, and these sorts of things. And so it was there pushback? Not really. I mean, there was definitely conversations that had to change certain things. Like Shem, for example, he wasn't on the same eating program as us. He was working restaurants. He'd come home, we'd already eaten. And so I'd be like maybe in the middle of feeding the kids, and I was trying to feed him like broccoli or something. And he sits down and opens a pint of ice cream, and the kids are like, well, I want that. So we just had to decide, okay, you can eat that, but I really want our kids to eat better, and I'm in charge of the kids. You're not around. So can I just have this in my court? And can you just not eat that around them when I'm trying to feed them? These types of conversations. And he's like, okay, yeah, I get it. And it got to the point where the kids just felt better and excited about the foods and that we were now eating. So
I guess the end thing is, now is everybody eating the same diet, or is Shem on a vegan diet too, and are the kids, or and how long did that take if they got there?
So everyone eats plant based. I would say 80%. But my biggest goal for the kids, especially, is that they understand food and they understand, where it comes from, how it can support their bodies, and um, just have a good knowledge about food and see how it affects their body. So if they go to a birthday party or their grandma and grandpa's and they feed them whatever they're going to feed them, they can eat it. Like, I think it's important for them to like feel like they can make their own decisions. And it's pretty cool because now they'll go and they'll binge at a birthday party and then feel sick and be like, oh, I can't wait to go home and have a smoothie, or like they recognize how it makes them feel. So I think that as they grow, that will be a powerful tool for them to have. And so I'm not like this super strict yes or no mom. It's more of like, I just want to give them the education and the tools, and we eat a certain way at home. But if you want to do something at a friend's house or your grandparents or whatever, like, it's fine. Like, it's their choice.
There's flexibility there. I like
Yeah.
that.
And when we first started, it was a gradual process. Like, I started buying much more produce. And when I first started like shopping as like a plant based, I was buying all this produce that felt irresponsible. I was like, how am I possibly going to eat all this before it went bad? So it became a goal. Like, I'm going to use everything that's living before I use anything canned or boxed, just to make sure it doesn't go bad. I didn't want to waste, our money. And so I just started using more and more vegetables and fruits in every meal, and for myself and for the kids. And eventually I was weeding out all like the kind of snack foods and, simple box foods that we had before. And once it was gone, they didn't ask for it anymore. But if you have a cookie next to like an apple, they're going to want the cookie. So removing the cookie, making the apple the new normal, it just changed everything. And then they stopped asking for it. And so I felt like the more I put like the things that they weren't used to in front of their face is like, this is now the new normal. And then that's what they eat. And it was like, it took time. I would say I would put things in front of them that didn't necessarily want to eat. And it was okay. I would just say, you don't have to like it. You just have to taste it. And I just keep doing that. And then all of a sudden there is another food that they like a cucumber or avocado or sauerkraut or whatever. And it's like, takes months to build that up for a kid that's not maybe used to it. But, even if it took a year, now they have 50 new foods that they love. That's a whole different diet. And that's, you build a lifetime off those new foods.